There we go. What's up?
What's up?
What's going on with Teague?
Not much.
Another day in paradise out here.
Yeah, so what were we talking about? Robots that
Yeah.
can do what human tradesmen can do?
Well, this is what I'm saying is that this is my prediction is that as time goes on, you're gonna be able to hijack the human body basically. So they're gonna figure out the circuitry in the brain and all that kind of stuff, and then you're gonna be able to hijack a brain kind of thing, and then what you're talking about, they can kind of it'll be a morph.
No, and actually, pertaining to what I was saying earlier, I think, and there are a bunch of systems engineers now who think that we should be, and they're actually doing this, we should be looking at, like, for instance, how do painters use paintbrushes?
Yeah.
And do stuff, and then you could train a robot to use a paintbrush. And there's times that, yeah, you have a robot in a factory spraying pieces of a car, you just set them up. It's not a true robot. I'm talking about a robot who you can say, see that house over there? I want you to paint it. And that includes, like, everything. You know, spackling all the holes, building.
Well, here's one thing: is that
getting to every spot to do that, setting the ladder up or whatever, the scaffolding, or on a hillside, or it gets complicated.
I know what you're saying. Well, one thing is they've actually made a robot bird, so it actually flies just like a bird. And what they did is they took the skeletal system and they just copied it.
So can it hover in the air and hammer a nail while holding the piece up with a level on it to make sure it's level?
Well, not the bird, obviously, but what I think that my thing is, I just think there's going to be a morph. So it's going to be like, how they're just copying, the structures. So like, with the bird, for example, you have a copy that's now robotic, and I think that's going to happen with humans, where they're going to.
Now, what's interesting is does this require completely total change in building methods, where we don't have to have people build houses? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a change.
No, you could totally do this. It's done. Look at the Japanese, whatever. It's like, or they're built on site, or not on site, in factories by robots and delivered and put down, and you minimalize all the human labor involved in it. Used to be labor was the cheap part of building houses. Now it's the very, very expensive part. So any way you can cut down on labor, even by using improved, more costly materials, you end up with a cost reduction.
Well, they also have right now that I'll show you the video. They have they have a printout for cement. So you put this robot in and it prints it out. You just put a hose into it, and then it just literally prints out the concrete. So I mean, there's gonna be all kinds of.
And machines, like big equipment that comes in and does that. One guy drives in and does it all.
There's still gonna be a human interaction.
Oh, hell yeah. People are still gonna want stuff that's handmade because it's beautiful. People are still gonna want,
Well, there's also, like, back in the day, I think this was in the 1800s or the 1700s, around George Washington time, is that it was like the human body was considered sacred, and they wouldn't let doctors, like, botch them up. Like, it was like against the law. You couldn't just have a body and start splicing on it. So there was all this underground network of, like, bodies. So, like, somebody would die, and then the doctors would be in some basement cutting up, to figure out where because nobody even knew about the organs, like the lungs and all that stuff.
Long before that, read about Galen, great Roman physician, incredible.
Yeah, there was a bunch
That was brilliant.
There was breakthroughs, but I think we're still on we still haven't gotten it down. We still got to figure out the human brain and how it functions and all that stuff. But once we map that,
even how my hand and arm works and what I can do with it, and the subtlety and grace and perception in feel cannot be reproduced. Period.
Yeah. Well, that's where the space dust comes in. Like how we're space dust. Do you believe that, or I believe that?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're stardust.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Some
actually
kinda-
are. We actually are.
So that's where that comes in, where it's like there's variables and time and space and just how the wind blows, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's deep thought is what that is. That's all deep thought.
It is within nature that I see the best arguments for a higher power. I'm not saying I believe in that, but there is something graceful and beautiful about. That's what would be so glorious about seeing other worlds, you know, other.
Well, that's another thing too, is that that's another one of my things is that like I'm ready to blow this pop stand. You know what I mean? Like, let's go to another. There's another Earth out there that has better weather, and you can get some land or whatever, and it's out there. So
Yours pretty good.
no, I'm talking about there's some planet out there that's paradise.
Yeah. Polly's planet. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my philosophy. But yeah, just like we're on this continent, we're not supposed to be on this continent.
Well, San
That's
Francisco's kind of it, you know, rain at night and sunny during the day, which is kind of what it's been lately, is rain at night and sunny during the day.
well, I mean, we're not supposed to be on this continent, so we're already like space travelers. We're the prehistoric space travelers, and now the next step is going to be other planets.
No, we were meant to be on this continent.
You think so?
Well, I'm sure you're part Native American too, so.
No. If I were to lay out in the sun, I'd burn. If I were to just.
Polly, I'm part Blackfoot.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
like,
you have
like definitively.
so you have the South Dakota or
Couple
or-
little parts, but well, no, more North Dakota and Montana,
Okay.
where my family came from Montana.
So you're a
So
hybrid.
my grandmother's, no, my grandmother's grandmother was pure blood. Her father was a guy named Ten Bear.
So I
And
got
everybody goes, oh, Ten Bear.
you. 10 bear.
What, he killed 10 bears, right?
No.
Well, yeah. But,
No.
and they all go, well, that's easy. You got a gun. You killed, you know,
Yeah.
back then there were lots of bears.
They had a bow and arrow.
No, 10 bears, not with guns. But he'd been attacked. There's paintings of him. Seriously, I mean, this is not bullshit. I'm not bullshit.
I hear you.
So there's paintings of him, and he's got like his chest bare. There's a scar here, and one here, and one here, and an eye missing. And it reminds me of Odin. He
Warrior.
reminds me of Odin, who is like.
Isn't that from Scandinavia?
Yeah.
Odin? Yeah.
So I am Norwegian. And,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm Danish.
Yeah.
I'm a Viking. But yeah, no.
Ellefson. That part of my great grandmother.
Well, there was it was all the settlers back in the day, and then how they would mix with the natives, and there was commingling.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no.
Yeah, one of my uncle or great uncles, my maternal grandmother's brother, wrote a series, not really a series, but wrote a number of books. But two of them were really good. One of them was Dance Back to Buffalo, about the ghost dances,
Okay.
because he had firsthand experience, and or he had talked to people who had firsthand experience. And then, or no, he did too. He was a kid then, and then he wrote The Last Hunt. They made it into a movie with Stork Granger, and back in the late 50s, you know, kind of a. But it's the one where, remember in the second Star Wars, he like kills remember the beast he's riding on at the beginning in the snow? And
Yeah,
it's
when he
freezing, and
cuts it open.
cuts it open
Yeah,
and crawls
yeah.
inside. Okay. The end of The Last Hunt, he does that with a buffalo, a big bull. Only problem is the storm's so bad that it freezes shut and he can't get out of it. And that's how he dies at the end.
Crazy. It
And in that
freezes
book,
shut.
there's direct references to my great grandmother.
Okay.
Sorry
Yeah, no,
to
it's-
babble, Paul. You're the one who's got the camera on.
No, it's cool. I like all this stuff. It's like stuff you'll never hear about, you know.
You can edit it too.
Oh yeah, no, I'll cut it up. This is just, yeah, it's fun. That's how we're doing it. Double yellow.
FAF.